G'day everyone. I'd just like to wish all my subs and supporters and their families, obviously, a Merry Christmas. And I hope, in the coming year, 2021 is a better year for all of us. Hope, this year's been an upending for a lot of people. People have lost their jobs. People have got sick. They've lost loved ones. It's been a bit of all over the place, so to speak. People have been isolated, cut off from their loved ones because of being overseas and borders being shut and all sorts of issues. So it hasn't been happy times for the majority of us, and it's been hard. We've had to make sacrifices and stuff like that for family members. I hope that you're able to get together with close loved ones through this Christmas period and enjoy some close moments together, because it would have been pretty hard, the isolation for a lot of people, or cut off from people, so it's been a struggle for all of us, including myself. I sort of missed my contact with my sisters, my other loved ones, my other half, so it's been a bit of a struggle for me as well. Work's kept me busy. You guys sort of have kept me entertained in a number of respects as well, so it's been good in that regard. I look forward to next year being a bit of a nicer year for all of us. At the same time, looking forward to doing more stuff, trying to find time to do more stuff as well, sort of managing my time a bit better in that regard. So it's just, this year's just been all over the show and with a lot of things. So I'm trying to put a few things in place to be able to generate a bit more content in that regard. Now, I don't promise anything. I do have a day job, a lot of other commitments. But I'll be making an effort to try and lift my game a bit. And at the same time, try to get more information out there to help people. There's a lot of people struggling with all sorts of ailments. And I realise that people are sort of want a lot of that information. They're struggling to get useful information on many other channels. A lot of other channels have sort of become too over commercialized. Their major preoccupation is how to sell some product, or especially, keto treats and carnivore treats and all sorts of things with all sorts of fillers and wonderful crap, so that sort of stuff, or supplements, when you can get most of your supplements if you're deficient, especially when you're transitioning, you're new to the carnivore diet and you've got some level of deficiencies and stuff like that. There's, organ meats and all that are a good, cheap supplemental approach to deal with underlying deficiencies. And then basically a mixed sort of approach to carnivory that allows different sort of vitamins and minerals to be better acquired in that regard. There are going to be some genetic differences as well. I've pointed that out on numerous occasions, where slight adjustments are always required. But generally speaking, I sort of agree with Bart that, we don't need to complicate things too much. Most people with, some ruminant animal meats, some, in my case, dairy as well, plus some seafood, usually can cover most of the requirements for the human body. For thousands of years, Homo sapiens have lived along coastal areas and along river systems to be able to access both river foods and ruminant foods, primarily prioritizing ruminant animals, and as a secondary, sort of river foods or coastal foods, which is seafood basically. So pretty much most people combining primarily ruminants with some seafood component can pretty much do quite fine. Some people that have got no problems like myself can combine dairy as well, and I have to say I do enjoy dairy in that regard. It means that I don't have to really worry so much about certain types of minerals in that regard, in particular magnesium and potassium, because I can get plenty from dairy. But at the same time, our requirements for those goes down due to basically just the types of enzymes and cofactors that are required to basically break down and assimilate animal foods isn't as high as carbohydrate metabolism. It is different. So there are some elements there. So we need to keep that in mind. We tend to overcomplicate things in many regards. But generally speaking, the focus will be, a lot of us, do come to the carnivore diet with a lot of issues. And that's has been my focus on trying to provide people with solutions and options in that regard, trying to provide people with, information on how to improve their gut microbiome, because that's sort of another issue that's quite involved in that regard. But people also need to remember that what you put in your mouth isn't the only thing. Your circadian rhythms can affect your gut microbiome. I've been telling you this for ages, that you need to basically block blue light. T1 and T2 take the piss out of me about, my Roy glasses and stuff like that, but that's okay. We have a bit of banter and fun, but at the same time, it's really important. If you're not getting good, deep sleep and you're not basically protecting yourself from blue light in the evening hours, you're going to have a shit sleep. And if you have shit sleep, that will have implications on your gut microbiome as well. Some people that, they try a lot of things like, adding a bit more water, adding a bit more salt, a bit more fat and all that to, and different things and combinations to improve things like, gut motility or other issues that may be plaguing them or whatever. But at the same time, their sleep pattern or their circadian rhythms are out of whack, and that may be having an effect on digestion as well, which is separate from just the dietary stuff. So you can get all the dietary stuff correct, your circadian rhythms could be out of whack. So, and I find that with younger people that tend to have more gut issues, whether it's in particular constipation, and it usually is the staying up too late. I've noticed that even myself, even though, on occasions, my stools change in their composition when I've been a night owl. When I go earlier, they improve. So there is something there that actually circadian rhythms do affect, the way, because there are times that you're supposed to be asleep, supposed to be awake, you're supposed to be eating, all these things which our ancestors did, and worked with the rhythms of the rhythm of life, or the rhythm of life on this planet. And when you actually step outside that, things start not working properly. So, and the thing is, just the dietary approach isn't going to fix it. So you need to focus on a number of these other things in terms of lifestyle. It could be pathogens in your environment, could also affect. That's where some of the things that I've focused on this year, where I've looked towards the end of the year with some of the bacterial strains, like the the German one that actually tends to improve people that have got, it's also covers dysentery and a whole lot of other things, but also it actually improves constipation as well in that regard. And there are some others that actually fight off C. diff and all sorts of other pathogens in the gut. While, you know, the slight hack that I've been talking about B vitamins and all that to improve the overall sort of gut microbiome balance and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that we need to look at. And sometimes as carnivores, we're focused on just the food side and we ignore some of these other areas that we've neglected that have problems, underlying problems that have come from the previous diets that we've come from and haven't been completely resolved. Now, over time, to some extent, you will, because of the foods that you eat, you will slowly change the sort of gut microbiome balance and all that. And animal foods tend to be much higher in B vitamins, so they actually support those pathways. But it's longer, and let's start using some of these biohacks to, short term, 3 month, get the B vitamins up, fix the those important bacterial strains that are the beneficial ones to bring about this rebalancing and also support that more acidic sort of stomach, small intestinal tract sort of relationship that our body prefers. Our body prefers to be in that sort of state. It can absorb things much better and break things much better and operate much better. So there's all these sort of factors. And so this year, my aim will be to try and look at how to improve a lot of these sort of areas for you guys and to try and actually help you guys along on your journey of improving your health. And through the year, I'm going to be sort of also getting into some biohacks and stuff like that, and looking at some other strategies of how to use diet and some strategic supplements to improve that. I've covered a few of those in the past, but I'll go into more specifics, how people can utilize those sort of things. So look, I wish all my subscribers Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you for your support this year. I really appreciate it. I hope you continue the journey into next year and beyond with me, and that you have a good time with your family on Christmas Day. And I hope to see many of you on the 27th. I know it's stateside, it's 26th, and in the Americas in general. And on that day, because I've got a limited amount of StreamYard sort of time slots, I'll be doing a sort of slightly less than 2 hour morning one, and then slightly less than 2 hour evening one. So there'll be a shorter live stream and then a shorter Euro Asia live stream. So it's just because in the last couple of streams, we went sort of slightly over, in particular the last one, which was about 4 odd hours beyond my 3 hour sort of limit. And that cut quite substantially in the time that I had available. So I've sort of have to limit it because I don't get renewed until the 2nd. So just letting everyone know why. There'll be a shorter program on the coming Sunday on the 27th for most of the planet and the 26th stateside. Anyway, have a good day tomorrow or the day after for those who are stateside, and hope to see you in the new year. See yous.